For this video, I'm going to talk about group policy objects. And so just log in to your domain controller, which is just a server I set up. It's virtual machine in Azure. And go to Tools. And click Group Policy Management. And so here's my forest. Inside I have my domain. And anyway, you could go to this container, group policy objects, and here's the two default ones. So this default domain policy just applies to everyone in the domain. And this particular GPO is where your password policies are stored. And this is for the domain side. So like if you have a password policy in your local, and then also you have one for the domain is overwrites it. It's a stronger one. And the other GPO is the default domain controllers policy, so it affects the domain controllers here in this OU, organizational unit. And that's dealing with settings that affect your domain. So if you want to edit any of the GPOs, you just double click them, or you just click it here, say OK, and you can right click and say edit, and it opens up Group Policy Management Editor. So if you want to change preferences, you could do that, or you could change policies. Like, I don't know, let's say the security policies. Do script for startup and shutdown. You could add scripts for that. Yeah, anyway, it is where you would change stuff. Like, let's say, we want to change the account password policy. This is where you do it. You just make the changes like that for the local. Anyway, so let's create a GPO that like changes everybody's wallpaper. So go here, you just click it, you say new, call it whatever you want. So let's call it wallpaper. And just click it, say edit it. You want to go to user configurations, admin. And click desktop and desktop wallpaper. And so you set it enabled, then you put in, the path. So if it's like a network share, you do that. And the file, maybe it's in the folder of wallpaper, whatever. I'm just gonna not do anything. But anyway, then after you do that, you click OK. Make sure that click OK, and now you see it's enabled. So now we created it, but we didn't actually apply it. So you can X out of it, and you see it's here now. And let's say I want to apply it to the new users. Well, you just drag it onto it since you want to link it, and you do it. So if you have different ones, like maybe you have it by location, like New York and San Francisco, you could link it to who you want. But anyway, say okay, and now these new users organizational unit has this GPO applied to them. So GPOs can be applied to organizational units. They could be applied to sites, which are just locations, and also domains. Now this policy is in here. We could remove it. Anyway, we don't remove it that way. But it's not automatically enforced the policy. It's when a user logs in, the computer policy or the user policy gets applied, and when a computer is turned on, that's when the computer policies are applied. And it's also set on a timer of like 90 to 120 minutes is when it'll update. But if you want, you can manually update it, like by forcing it. You just click the OU, right click it, and you say group policy update. And then everything in it that's going to update with the policy. Well, I'm going to show you a different way of doing it. So I'm going to go to my other virtual machine, my Windows 10 one that's part of this domain. So I'm in the Windows 10 one, and let's just do PowerShell. And the command's just gp update, and they force it for group policy update. So and make sure run as administrator gp update /force. And now it's updating all the policies, the current ones and then ones that got added too. Alright, so it did it. And another command is gp result. And I'll show you all the group policies that are applied to this computer. And we do /p, it's verbose, so it gives it more information. And you scroll up, and you can see all these different policies. Here, like security, like the password complexity, you see the GPO was the default domain policy, was the one that gave it this policy. And anyway, so it has all of them. So another thing you could do is clear the screen, is same thing, GP result, but use /h, and it's going to store as HTML file. So just do C, and just that's fine. And let's call it results.html. And now it's going to take all the results and put in an HTML file. So it did it, so let's go check it. I put it in the C drive, so. And here it is, results. And it's Edge, because that's the default browser. And it's a lot easier to look at what's being applied here than, in PowerShell or command. You can see group policy objects here, applied ones, denied ones, everything, And you can do show all to show everything. So anyway, that's group policy objects.